Hey everyone, hope you're well. This is CoinsKid. Just going to XRP. Once again, thank you for your support. Okay, but the CoinsKid crew. So there's a chart that nobody looks at that looks as though it's forming some kind of parabolic growth curve that could see it 10x from here. And it's not really something that people make videos about or talk about, but it is a very important coin in this space, in my opinion. So do check out that post in the Discord, for the CoinsKid Elite right there, because I'm looking at a perfect setup on that coin. And obviously the invalidation is if it loses the parabolic growth curve, okay? But right now it looks as though it's forming one since way back in June 2023, I think it was. It's been forming a parabolic growth curve, and there is a couple of more coins that look structurally quite similar. So do check that post out in the altcoin section, okay? But right now, the main important thing obviously is XRP. What is XRP doing? Well, I think that XRP is putting that ferocious move, a huge move, and this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the coins that have not done that, that are about to do it, in my opinion. And last year everyone was really bearish on XRP, but like I said to you, I think we've got a vertical in the charts, and that's what I'm looking at across the board. And many of these lagging altcoins that have just not done anything, but are holding a very important level of support, just like XRP was last year. And obviously it could be completely wrong, so I'm looking for that parabolic growth curve to break down and lose its structure, and then obviously my analysis is wrong, and you're losing that parabolic growth curve, which is really important. So XRP, it's doing really, really well. It's come up massively. A lot of people are really depressed and bored on XRP, but I think they forget where we've come from. All these years we've been grinding on XRP and accumulating the lows and the fear and the blood and the depression of 5 waves down and things like that. I've been telling you buy. But right now, I'm not telling you buy because I'm looking at other things, opportunities going forward. Now, it doesn't mean you have to convert all your XRP into this other coin or whatever. That's entirely up to you. But, at this point in the market, we've got to respect that XRP's come up massively. So what I'm looking at, pure data, I don't think the top's in. I think we've got a bit further to go in this market. I'm looking at some opportunities across the board in lagging altcoins. But one of the key data points I'm looking at with yourselves is this white line. It's still trending down, which is really important. Like I said to you, whenever you see a big spike up, you will see a drawdown in crypto and especially XRP. And I think towards last week, we got that spike up and we got the drawdown for XRP. So a lot of people think the bottom's in, things like that. So we need to look at the charts and see what we can see going forward. But at the minute, I do think we've seen an impulse, and right now we're in a correction for XRP and Bitcoin, and at some point we will turn around. And the reason is obviously liquidity dance is still trending down, and most importantly, the crystal ball is still trending up. Look at this, so it's still trending up. We do see a big push up into September at some point, so we might get another leg up for Bitcoin and XRP, and then we see some kind of consolidation. So looking at Bitcoin quickly on the 5-day time frame at the moment in a whopping uptrend, but obviously it will change in time. As soon as it does, I'll bring it to your attention. So with Bitcoin, I do think possibly it's running out of steam. I've been looking at this with yourselves for a very long time. What I'm looking for in the short term, if we do begin to break down below this support just there, then obviously I think the target is down here, okay, roughly 53k for Bitcoin. So keep an eye on this, because at the moment I do think there is a possible bearish pattern that's beginning to emerge here for Bitcoin, and it's the opposite of a bullish pattern. Again, I could be completely wrong. It's just pattern trading. This is something we do on the channel. We've been doing this for many, many years. For anyone that's been paying attention, we've been pattern trading on this channel for a very long time. And we pattern trade on the lower time frames, high time frames. We just always try and seize the opportunity. So what we do tend to look for is price compression in patterns, and we look for 3 points of support and 3 points of resistance. And we do typically break bearish patterns on the 3rd point of support and bullish patterns on the 3rd point of resistance. So for anyone that's been on the channel for a very long time, once we created this 2nd point of resistance just there, I said to you, I expect us to break on the 3rd point of resistance, and we did exactly that. So the whole way down there, I said to you, I'm buying, I'm not crying. We're forming a falling wedge. We've got 1, 2, 3 points of support. We've got the bullish divergence at the bottom of the wedge, right on cue. Look at that, beautiful. On this neckline, we was buying, come back up into the resistance. At that point, we broke out. And at that point, just relying on the pattern, I did relay to you that, if this is a falling wedge, which is exactly what it looks like, we should trend all the way up into this level of resistance here, where we'll experience a correction. We did. And then again, the technical target will be where you form the wedge, where I expect another correction. And we got exactly that, okay? So, go back to the videos. This is my primary for a very long time. Falling wedge, compression right to the bottom. 1, 2, 3 points of support. 1, 2, 3 points of resistance. Breakout, back test, see you later. So, at this point, I was incredibly bullish for Bitcoin. Go back to the videos. I made a video called The 5 Waves of Death. It's pinned in my Twitter. You can go check it out. It's just a little segment from that video way back when, I think it was like December 2022, how I was anticipating this third point of resistance, breakout, back test, and then a run up into there and a run up into there for Bitcoin. It's a whopping trade. Aside from that, but what I'm looking at right now is we are still trending above the ribbon, but sometime I do think we'll begin to trend down the ribbon, okay? But what I'm looking at, and this is why I do still remain bullish on Bitcoin, unless obviously the structure tells me otherwise, is I think we may have a rising wedge here, which is the opposite of a falling wedge. So you've got 1, 2, 3 points of resistance, 1, 2, 3 points of support, compression, looking at you compress it before the breakout. And once you break out of a falling wedge, your primary target is where you form the wedge, which is exactly what happened. So, you know, the opposite of that, you're coming up 1, 2. If this turns around and doesn't lose its support, because there's 1, 2 levels of support, if this does turn around, holds its support and comes back up, then I think we've got our last point of resistance of a rising wedge, which is getting really, really compressed, okay? Now at that point, we'll break down, back test, the target will be the bottom of the wedge, and that's a whopping correction. And at that point, it could begin to print the characteristics of the top at that particular time frame if this does play out like this, okay? So I am projecting into the future, obviously on a basically a rising wedge, but I was projecting into the future on this falling wedge. Go back to the videos, okay? So the structure of the top looks like this, okay? When Bitcoin is cooked, it's sharp rug pulls. You know, we've not seen it here. We've not seen a sharp rug pull in a matter of weeks where Bitcoin's taken off. We've not seen a sharp rug pull. We didn't see it here. We didn't see it here. We've seen overlapping zigzaggy waves, overlapping zigzaggy waves, overlapping zigzaggy waves. Now, if you see that sort of impulse, which is a sharp push to the downside, it means Bitcoin's in trouble, and we've not seen it yet. So my primary anticipation is 1 point support, 2 point support. If Bitcoin breaks down this neckline on the third point support, I think the target will be the bottom of the wedge. Just like I said to you here, 1 point resistance, second point resistance. Once we break this third point resistance, the target will be the top of the wedge. So we're doing the opposite. Now, usually, you know, you get your bullish divergence at the bottom and you get your bearish divergence at the top. So it looks as though it's poised for that as well. If we're looking at the RSI, you know, if you take a look at the RSI and these key pivot points there, you've got that in, I think it was June 2022. Then you've got the lower low in November of 2022. You've got your low and you've got your high low. So you've got your bullish divergence to accompany the reversal pattern. And just there, you are printing bearish divergence to potentially accompany this potential bearish pattern, okay? You've got a point of support just there, which is your high. You've got a resistance, sorry, I do apologise, point of resistance just there, which is your lower high. And then, you know, if you do start to hold this and come back up, you will create another point of resistance. And then I would imagine you create another lower high here for Bitcoin. And then boom, you've got the characteristics, you know, just like you got the bullish divergence here that led to that pump, you've got this potential bearish divergence down here that leads to this dump. So keep an eye on that, and this is why I do remain bullish on Bitcoin. And again, I could be completely wrong, it's pattern trading, but this is what I rely on. You know, I rely on pattern trading for a very long time. If we go back to this time frame here, on the daily time frame, there was a beautiful little rising wedge as well. For anyone that's been on the channel, you know, it's just the same concept basically. And like I taught you at the time, 1, 2, 3 points of resistance, 1, 2, break down the third point of resistance, support, sorry. So this is a micro, basically a micro channel, bearish channel, that, you know, predicted that drop just there way back when. And this is what I'm looking at. It's more of a macro channel, you know, for Bitcoin that's potentially forming right now with accompanying bearish divergence. And if we go back to this time frame as well, you know, you're getting the same thing. You're getting your bearish divergence once more. High, high, lower high, lower high, higher high, and then boom, you dropped like a stone back down into the oversold conditions. Now, one thing for Bitcoin at the moment, and I've been looking at this with yourselves for a very long time, is it is falling right now back into this zone here. If it loses this medium zone, okay, which is around about 40 on the weekly, on the 5-day RSI, sorry, then okay, it could be in a world of trouble, because that is usually typically indicative of the, you know, the end of the cycle as well. Within a short period of time, Bitcoin loses the momentum on the 5-day time frame. We go back to this time frame as well. In a very short period of time, you see your rug pull and you're losing the momentum. And you know, the RSI is a great indicator. I've been looking at yourselves for a very long time. So technically at the moment, Bitcoin's come up. It is printing bearish divergence, but it's not quite created, you know, the basically the top of a massive falling wedge pattern, which is a third point in contact with a triple bearish divergence, which we just don't quite see yet. But I think if it does start to do something like this and turns around over the next few months, you do have your 3 points of lower highs and, you know, your 3 points of higher highs, where typically you break down on the third point support, and at that point you should see the sharp rug pull just like what you did there, and you should lose the medium zone on the 5-day RSI and come really down into the oversold conditions basically, but you've changed the trend. You're in a whopping crashing correction, so we don't quite see it yet, and this is why, again, just rely on the structure within the charts and not necessarily the data, just the structure I'm looking at. I don't think we're seeing the top of this cycle, especially for Bitcoin, but again, I could be completely wrong. I've not got a crystal ball. I can't see into the future. So this is why I do think XRP is still bullish, because if we had seen the characteristics of the top that we saw there and we saw there, then we've not seen it so far, and this is why I think there's another leg miss in this bull market. And then I look at the crystal ball and it's trending up, and liquidity density trending down, and that's all I'm relaying to you. So I know a lot of people are writing XRP's finished, it's cooked and it's topped and things like that, but like I said to you, I think we're coming in a huge third wave. We're going sideways in a 4, and we're looking for another leg to the upside. And then if Bitcoin's missing this last leg, there's your leg to the upside. Really simple, okay? So we'll keep an eye on the Bitcoin chart. I know a lot of people only want XRP chart, but Bitcoin gives us a bit of a clue going forward, okay? Let's dive into the XRP chart, see what we can see. Looking at XRP on a 5-day time frame, again, I'm just relaying to you the data. At the moment, we're looking pretty bullish. We're holding the ribbon. We've come up late last year, and as anticipated, we've gone sideways on the ribbon. Now, this ribbon is really important, just like I've shown you on the 5-day for Bitcoin. You know, it does give us clues. It gave us a clue to this pump that I relayed to you, and it's really simple. Go back to the videos at the time. You know, I should probably get it up, but you know what it is, just there we've got a compression pattern, and we got the same signal just there that we got in 2017 on the ribbon, basically. So just there on this last buy dot, we closed above the ribbon, and like I relayed to you here, wow, this is an amazing signal. We should be in for a vertical here just because of that pure data point that I relayed to you, because the last time we saw the buy, the shakeout, the breakout on compression on the 5-day time frame was right way back when. Let me zoom out for you. It was way back when here, okay? And I relayed that to you. It was in all the videos on Twitter, and I kept showing you, wow, guys, we've got a signal there, very important signal. You know, we've got the buy, the shakeout, the breakout, and that one close above the ribbon was a clue that we're about to go vertical. And that was the last time we saw it in that previous cycle of compression just there. So again, if you're seeing that on any charts, have a look, relay that to me, because obviously I can't look at every single chart, but if you're seeing that compression, you know, and you're getting your buy, your shakeout, and your breakout signal, then boom, you're looking at potential vertical in front of you, because compression leads to expansion. So like I said to you, for many years, I think we're going from left to right, we're compressing. At some point, as we get close to this apex, we should experience a huge vertical and a breakout. And we've done exactly that for XRP. Now, a lot of people, they want XRP to keep going and doing something like this, but you know, things run out of steam. And one of the key things we look at, just like I've shown in the Bitcoin video, is momentum. Okay, on the RSI, really important. We came up, we started making lower highs, and this is one of the confluencing factors at the time when everyone was saying we're going to break out and take off into space. I said to you, I think we'll come back into this mid-range here for the next leg to the upside, and we've done exactly that. So again, I'm just relaying to you, if we can hold the medium range on the 5-day time frame for XRP, and we don't fall below it, and we don't fall below this key level support at 191, XRP is gearing up for another run here. Okay, and again, potentially, just like Bitcoin, if it holds the mid-range and comes back out, you are creating a whopping bearish divergence just there for XRP, and at some point it will have a big macro correction. But until that day comes, you know, we're riding this trend and we're doing incredibly well. But I will keep relaying the data to you as and when I see it. Okay, so far so good. Breakout, holding the ribbon, we're looking pretty tasty here. Let me zoom on a lower time frame to see what we can see, but you know, incredible move for XRP, and this is something we've been anticipating on the channel for a very long time for anyone that's been paying attention. Okay, let's zoom in on XRP right now to see what we can see. So looking at XRP on the 4-hourly time frame, really important time frame. I think what we're doing right now, in layman's terms, really simple, is this is a key level of resistance where you've met an impulse top, and this is the beginning of an impulse, which is here. Okay, so my primary at the moment, I've gone through this with you, is a 1 into a 2 into a 3 into a 4 into a 5. That's a beautiful move for XRP, and it could be, you know, either the end of the bull run, who knows, no one's got a crystal ball, but if it is, then it loses this low. Okay, but if we have broken down at this point, and this is it, you know, XRP came up to this level here, and it's not going to smash the highs and do really well, and it's over. If it is the case, then I think from this point we have to lose this low to, you know, basically reverse a trend, which is an uptrend. So at this point, if XRP loses this low from this point, then okay, it's in a world of trouble. But you know, I'm not being over bullish or over bearish or whatever. I respect 5 waves, and this is something I've taught you. You see 5 waves up, I expect to pull back. If it's zigzagging and corrective, which is currently what this looks like, it means all of it is buying opportunity for the next leg up to the upside. Okay, and this is just primarily, you know, rely on structure. So if I'm looking at a structure of these waves, this is corrective price structure retracing back to a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 impulsive wave move. So you've got some kind of flag here, okay, and we've traded these many times before. Now the trouble is with corrections, it's really difficult to pinpoint exactly where it's going to finish correcting, okay, so this is why I use fibs. So basically from this high here, we begin a correction, we're coming down, we're overlapping zigzaggy waves. This can keep coming. As long as it holds a 1 fib and doesn't lose it, you're good to go in the next impulse. So what I'm looking at, and I always look to the left with you, is clues in the charts, any price structure, any resistance, any ceilings that need to become the floors basically. So we've got this level of resistance just there for XRP. Massive level of resistance. Look at that. Resistance there, resistance there, resistance there, resistance there. Get that knob on. And eventually we caught up in a beautiful ascending triangle just there, and we broke out this resistance. So technically for me, if this is an ABC zigzag correction, it should look really simple like this. That was your A, that was your B, this is your C that comes back down into this zone here, and that would be absolutely amazing. If XRP can come down and snag the 786 at 2.1940, then for me you've got a massive move to the upside after that, okay? And again, nothing I say is financial advice. So for me, I'm putting bids 786 at 21940, the golden ratio at 24472, and the 0.5 fib at 2.6423. And I'm just praying that I'm correct in the fact that that is just corrective price structure after an impulsive move, which is currently what it looks like. So if we take a look at this particular indicator as well, the CoinsKid ribbon, look at this signal again. You buy, you cry, you break out. So basically you got a buy, a shakeout and a breakout, and the last time we saw that on the 5-day, it led to a huge pump. So keep an eye on these signals on the ribbon, okay, because that's an amazing little indicator I create for the CoinsKid crew. So just there, we'll come up 1, ABC 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a huge 90% move that hopefully, and again, hope's a dangerous word, but if my analysis is correct and Bitcoin's missing that last leg to the upside, then the confluence is that XRP is also missing a leg to the upside because of this overlapping nature of the zigzag waves that we're going through. So I think this was an A. Your B is complete just there because it's a 3-wave move up, and right now it's a C wave that's possibly complete, or we're coming lower. Either way, I'm not selling because I do think we're missing another move here to the upside, and that is just really, really simple technical analysis. It looks as though we've got some kind of flag here for XRP where we're flagging back like this. Okay, if we break this resistance, fantastic. It may confirm the bottom from wherever you come, okay? So I'll leave you with that. I wish I had most luck going forward, but the minute we start to get back with a ribbon and print another buy, cry, breakout signal, then I think we've got another clue that we're about to go vertical, okay, for XRP. Before I do go, I just want to show the futures blocks. I've been updating this for yourselves, listening to all your feedback. What I've created is customized community palettes. So basically, if you don't like the colours, the default colours, you can go and choose your palettes. A lot of people are using this. This is a default palette that I use, that I coded in for you, but obviously people like different colours, and the vision and the different devices display differently, so you can create your own palette, and you can clearly see that these are the custom palettes, the community palettes that people create in. And again, you just click use that palette, go to the crypto blocks, and you can clearly see that that's what it looks like. It's personal preference, it's entirely up to you. And I've also created this little indicator here for you based on the fear and greed of the tether dominance and the Bitcoin price action basically, and I'll go through that with you quickly. So I'm just going to take the default package, the default palette, revert back and go back to the crypto blocks. So this is my personal preference, might change it in time, but again, it's entirely up to you what you want to do. So really simply, this indicator here, basically whenever you see Bitcoin down here in extreme fear or fearful, you're looking to buy Bitcoin, you're looking to long Bitcoin, with obviously logic, bullish divergence and many other things, and equally other coins as well, okay, because there's a lot of fear in the market, and typically there's an inverse correlation between tether dominance. So as this starts to come up, you will start to see Bitcoin coming back, and obviously if Bitcoin is coming up, you start to see tether dominance coming back. So right now you can clearly see that we do have Bitcoin pushing up a little bit, okay, and the tether dominance is pushing down a little bit. So for me, right now you're looking at short opportunities. So if we go down the board, we've got this coin here, take, right towards the back end. That's absolutely pumping. It's already started to dump. Just there, this one, idle. That's been pumping again, similar structure. Now if we can get another higher here on this particular chart and the take chart, I will entertain a short on them charts to come all the way back down, okay, because you're getting quite overextended with multiple bearish divergence on this index. Look at that. So nothing goes up forever, and when it does come down, it could be a beautiful short opportunity that I relay to the CoinsKid crew in the Discord. So at the minute, the fact that Bitcoin's pushing up over the tether dominance, for me, I'm looking for shorts, okay, and anything that's overextended. You can filter, go to greed. You can look at all the key, coins that are greedy. Right now we've got pump, which is pumping. Look at this. So keep an eye on this. This will begin to create bearish divergence. Once it does, I think that could entertain a short opportunity right there for Bitcoin. Okay, and obviously the opposite is when Bitcoin's coming down, you're looking for longs, and when Bitcoin's coming up, you're looking for shorts. I understand that update. Take care, everyone. Back to a new update on XRP. Bye bye.